didn't see Jalen or Ernest Jones out there.
Not feeling good. They had a little stomach bug. I guess it's kind of going around right now, so I want to be smart with those guys.
How about with Coleman?
Coleman had a little swelling. He'll be okay.
Swelling in the knee or
lower extremity.
Do you anticipate that these guys will travel with you guys?
I think so. Yeah, that's the hope and expectation. Hopefully, it's just a 24-hour bug. So we'll see. We'll check on these guys this afternoon, and Reggie and those guys will be in touch.
Would you anticipate that Daryl and or Cam will take part in the joint practices?
I think we're just taking it a day at a time. I know those guys want to be out here, and so do we. We want them out there, and they need to be able to get out there and get the work, but not at the expense of setting themselves back even further. So it truly is kind of a day-to-day thing with them.
And so Kyron Williams is getting a lot of work, a lot of reps. And how has he looked so far, and will he participate?
Oh, yeah, he's going to participate for sure in the joint practices, and the goal is for him to play in the game too. Okay. So he and Jake have really carried a lot of the workload. Been impressed with, Trey's done a nice job in a short amount of time getting up to speed, but we need all hands on deck, and it's getting closer and closer, and the sense of urgency needs to continually increase for us.
When you go into a joint practice, what are the conversations you have with the opposing coaching staff, just kind of about expectations for what they'll look like?
Yeah, the good thing is that, with Zach and I having worked together, we have the same sort of practice philosophy, Sarah, and so the goal is really to get good work in, positively push one another. We don't want any sort of cheap stuff. It's not like they're game planning, we're not game planning. Fortunately, it was the most recent game, but just going against a different defense, different offense, you're seeing a different approach special teams wise to get some good kicking game work. So the goal is to really get a chance to practice another really good football team where we positively push one another and really kind of test a lot of our rules that we have structurally, offensively, defensively, and in the kicking game. And so that's kind of the intent. We have no place for fighting. We have to be able to get 2 good days of work, and these opportunities really matter, and we can't afford to miss it for dumb. And we won't have it. I don't expect that. And I know Zach and I are very much in aligned, as well as Cincinnati's coordinators and our guys.
For the veterans, I would sense this is as close to preseason as you get, and that would increase the value of these 2 workouts.
No doubt. Yeah, that's exactly how we approach it, Kurt. I think when you really look at it, these joint practices offer an opportunity for your top guys to be able to simulate game-like situations while minimizing the risk for injury. And that's the goal that we're really hunting up. And you can get good competitive work, a lot of situational stuff where we can kind of manipulate it that sometimes doesn't always unfold the way that you'd like, ideally offensively and defensively. And so you'll end up accumulating, over 90 reps over the course of a couple days, or almost 100 reps, if you kind of just bucket it out. That'll be really beneficial to us, and then we'll be able to start our Buffalo prep after that.
Sean, with the Coach Cheney, how would you describe him as a play caller?
Aggressive. I thought he did a great job. Even just like we've talked about, Gilberto, is just understanding how they can really just continue to use that experience as a learning op. And thought he did a great job in week 1, but you could feel the comfort level week 2, even just the decisiveness and changing personnels, getting the calls in, understanding the different situations that came up. Thought both he and Shula did an outstanding job, and again, Liam, another great job. And I've been incredibly, not surprised, but incredibly impressed with just the overall operation of what those guys have done, and it shows you really, what a great coaching staff we've got.
And one more, Coach Cheney. How strong is that relationship with Aaron Donald? When I watch them out there, they're pretty close, and they have fun, but do the work as well. But that bond, how is it?
It's huge. I mean, you talk about. I saw they were playing it the other day on one of the jumbotrons. He's really developed the culture within, the culture in that D-line room, and everything starts with building and developing relationships, being able to connect and communicate, care about these guys. We're big believers in. You got to love guys, and then you can be tough on them. It's not the other way around. And so I know that he loves those guys. I know those guys love him because there's a mutual respect, a mutual appreciation, and all the hard work that he really puts in and week out. And he and both Skylar to try to help those guys shine as bright as they possibly can and go play with clarity and a quieted mind. I think that's all you can ask for from a coach, and he's checking all those boxes.
Sean, this is will be your first chance to evaluate Allen Robinson, how he works with Stafford against someone other than your own defense. What are you looking or hoping to see from that?
I think just good rapport, being able to establish their communication, their connection, there's been a lot of opportunities even in the practice settings, but you're seeing some different matchups, some different concepts that maybe we would activate against the Bengals that we wouldn't against our guys. But I think you know what it looks like, Gary, just a good rapport between those two. And sometimes the best thing that can occur are, all right, staying within the framework of the structure of what we're trying to get done, but where they put their own ownership on it, similar to what you've seen with Matthew and Cooper. And, you know, Matthew's just got such a nice way about himself to be able to connect with his receivers, see it through their lens, but that communication between those two guys and that experience will help hone it in so that we can be as sharp as possible for the eighth.
When you're going against a defense and an offense other than your own in a setting like this, is there anything that you do differently from a structural standpoint, planning, anything you try differently?
You know, there's certain things that, you know, Coach Anarumo will activate based on front structures, coverage contours that make it more likely that we would run certain plays or certain run concepts that we wouldn't activate otherwise. But ultimately, Stu, really for us, it's not necessarily game playing as much as it is testing some of our rules, you know, different than what we'll do for Buffalo, where there'll be a lot of work. You know, you might use the Super Bowl as a couple representative examples, but we're not going to spend an elongated period of time, you know, planning to practice well. That's what our rules are in place for. And sometimes, you know, the best learning ops, whether it be for coaches or players, can occur where there's really no ramifications except for go out, don't be afraid to fail, let's compete to the best of our ability, and let's look at it for what it is. It's 2 good days of good work, whether it be good or bad, you still got to be able to move forward accordingly. And so I don't really, that probably doesn't answer your question, but there'd be certain things defensively or offensively we'd be more likely to run. But it's really about the foundational parts of our offense and defense, getting a chance to be able to, you know, protect in some of our punt phases, in some of our coverage phases, being able to cover and then work our return games against another opportunity in the kicking game, against another outfit, in the kicking game. Okay? Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Sean.